TechStylers. I hope you can see my screen. We're all about empowering women in technology. Well, like I said in our last meeting, right? We're over a year old now, and we've started to extend our reach to the men. So as many men that are interested in joining us and don't mind being a part of a class full of women, you are most welcome. Right. So we are all about helping and supporting women who want to get into technology. So I'll be handing over to Yinka now to take us through the agenda we have for today and also introduce TechStylers.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Olainka, and like Foya said, TechStylers is community of women all about supporting each other, mentoring each other, learning from each other, not just technically, but I mean also in everything that pertains to this tech career that we're all trying to build. And yeah, we have the important superpower of using technology skills to solve real life problems, and we're focused on supporting women. So what women are we looking at supporting? We're looking at supporting women who either you're in another career and you're trying to switch into technology, because I mean everybody's saying tech is the new oil. So there are lots of people that are trying to switch from whatever they were doing before to go into technology. Or you're a fresh school leaver and you have a passion to go into tech, or you're already in tech and you just feel like you want to do better at your career and all of that. So everybody is welcome. And like Foyin has just said, it's a community for women, but we're open to, if there are men that want to come and learn with us, please feel free to invite them to join us. And so that's what TechStylers is all about. We would, for the tech deep dive sessions, we'll meet every Saturday. And then every last Saturday of the month, we have what we call inspirational sessions. But every other Saturdays, we'll have deep dive sessions. Now, the sessions are broken into different technology tracks. And the purpose of today's session is just for us to sort of explain to you what each of those tracks mean and help you make a decision on which track you want to join. We're on social media. We right now paste all our social media handles on the chats. Please follow us on LinkedIn, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, join our WhatsApp group, just because that's where we're going to be sharing all of the information that sometimes you may not get in your emails. So that's basically it. Enjoy the rest of your day. Oh, sorry, enjoy the rest of the meeting. I mean,
Okay.
so yeah.
Thank you so much, Yinka. So our agenda for today is who we are. Yinka has taken us through that. So I'm going to talk about the tech deep dive too. So my name is Foyin Olajide Bello, and I am the founder of TechStylers. I also have on the call Olajumoke, who is the co-founder. We have our amazing tech mentors, Tosi, Flora. You meet all of them in a bit. We also have Yinka on the call, who is our program manager for TechStylers. Okay, so just a bit of us. So today we're going to look at our tech mentors. We're going to look at tech deep dive too. We're going to look at the technologies, which is the main reason why we are here. I've invited you to a separate call because you indicated on the form that you're a beginner and not really sure what path to take. So the purpose of this call is to explain very briefly to us what the different tracks are about. And hopefully after the session, you can make a decision, right? So after the session, we'll be sharing with you Microsoft's form. And from there, you can click on the form and register your intents for one or a maximum of 2 of these classes. And then we're going to start off fully next week, Saturday, by God's grace. Then what other benefits do you stand to gain? What are the next steps? And then we'll take your question and answers. So if there's any area that is not clear, or many of the technologies that has been explained, you can ask us. If you have any questions around the sessions, the platform, whatever it is, you can ask us. I also have one of our tech mentors, Sarah, coming up to explain to you how we're going to onboard you, because all of the sessions will be running on a Microsoft Teams channel. So we are going to explain the email you receive, how to sign up, and all of that, so that you don't have any problems joining the class next week, Saturday. And yes, it's a community and it's 100% free. So I'm sure some of you may be wondering, okay, when did they start to talk about the money parts? There is no money parts. We, the women, have decided that we want to do this, and we have decided to commit our time to it, to helping other women, helping their journey to be easier in Microsoft space. All right. So this our tech deep dive 2. Yinka has also explained a lot about this. The 5 tracks we're going to cover: Microsoft Azure, Microsoft 365, Power Apps. We have the Power Automate and Power Virtual Agents class, and we also have the Power BI class. We have a total of 16 mentors, wonderful women who have decided to give us their time at no cost every weekend to support this vision. And we have had over 200 plus registrations for the class. So these are the tech mentors. So I'm meeting the tech mentors. We have Tosin and Flora, who are going to champion the Microsoft 365, Microsoft Azure classes. We have, I'll just be clapping from here. We have Olajumoke, who is also the co-founder, Sneha, Joanne, and Sarah, who will be championing the Microsoft 365 sessions. Then we have wonderful women taking the Power Apps, artificial intelligence, and mixed reality classes. We have Victoria, who is a Power Apps developer. We also have Michelle, who is a Power Apps dev, Amara, Omolola. All of them are Power Apps, Power Platform developers, and they're going to be running the Power Apps classes. Then we have Power Automate and Power Virtual Agents. Myself, we have Peace, who is an automation analyst, and we have Ima, who is a robotics developer. We'll be taking that class. And for the Power BI data analytics class, we have Gloria, Chioma, and Yinka, who are fantastic data analysts, Power BI certified women. Their language is data, and they're offering to take the classes for us on Power BI. Most of those mentors have taken the first cohort, and the feedback has been wonderful. We've had people come for the sessions, and after, based on the knowledge they got, they went to write their certification exams, became certified. In the last call, I'll also share the link to the last session we had in August, where we had 3 of these women come to give their testimonials about the classes. How one of them said how she got 2 job offers from joining the Power BI class, and based on the mentoring and the support she got from these wonderful women, she now had to make a choice between those 2 job offers. We also had people writing exams, getting job offers from this class, increasing their knowledge and becoming more marketable in the industry today. So these are some of a lot of feedback that we got from the the last class that we had. So we're also looking forward to having super and amazing feedback from this class that we're about to begin now. So now let's jump into the technologies. We're going to be starting with Tosin. Tosin is going to take us through Microsoft Azure Cloud Computing. So when we say Microsoft Azure, what do we mean? When we're talking about cloud computing, what do we mean? Let me stop sharing my screen now so she can share hers. Then she's going to explain Microsoft Azure to us, and she's also going to talk a bit about Microsoft 365 and what all of that is about. So Tosin, over to you.
All right. Thank you very much, Frey. Thank you, everyone. Hello. My name is Oluwatose Anishere, and I'll be taking you, or should I say, I'm a mentor for Microsoft Azure. All right. So I hope you're able to see what's on the screen, please.
Yes, we can see.
Oh, great.
Yes, we can.
Thanks. All right, great. Thanks for the confirmation. Sorry, there is nothing, too fancy because I was told those things you have to, stick to time and you have just 10 minutes. So in 10 minutes, hopefully I'll be able to help us, understand what this is about. Now, from what we can see on the screen, um, Azure is the definition is about, you know, basically I'll just say cloud computing. It's that public cloud computing platform with solutions that gives several services like EAS, PaaS, and SaaS. And Azure basically offer over 200 products. But before going, deeply into Azure, I think it will make sense to describe what is cloud computing. Now, when we say cloud, I think there was a joke like that I saw on YouTube. That's been a while though, where I think they were talking to a minister of technology, so to say. I'm not going to mention the country, and the man was like, "Sorry, this cloud you're talking about, when it rains, what happened to all the things up there in the cloud?" And I couldn't help but cringe, like, oh my god, did they really say that? And okay, but so to avoid us being in such situation, I think it's important for us to be able to understand what is cloud. Back then, I'm sure some of us back then, if you were using phones without, before the cloud thing came to be, especially in the Nigeria space, you would, whenever you buy a phone and all, I'm sure some of the things you consider beside the fancy is the fact that it has extra storage. Why? Because you want to be able to store media, probably your you know things like your picture and all. But what happened, even when it comes to contact, you will agree with me that, because I remember I did that after saving some numbers and I've occupied, those numbers, I have to now start getting my book and paper, barrel, to just, list out some numbers, or in a way to have it like saved. Because once you misplace your phone, or once that phone got stolen, it's just like that's the end. And that's usually the pain for people when their phone gets missing and all. And also, when it comes to this phone, people would just like to get that extra memory card for storage and all. But if you compare that period to now, you will realize that these days there is really no such need for extra, that memory card, in addition to your phone storage. Why? That's because of the essence of cloud. And thanks to Google Cloud, which I would say, that's common. I'm talking with regards to, phone. With Google Cloud, you could back up your picture, you could back up, contacts, and so many other things. Now, that's just to give us an idea, based on that shift. So that way, people know, but you don't worry about, okay, my phone is missing, besides the fact that if the phone is really expensive, you have to gather money to buy another one. So where I'm driving at is the fact that cloud computing is that technology that provides us access to, various computing resources via the internet. The fact that you can access this via the internet is what makes it cloud. Regardless of whatever it is that is being hosted on the internet, as long as you get to access, these resources, whether it's computing resources and all, over the internet, then it is a cloud. And we have so many, cloud services provider. We have the likes of Microsoft, we have the likes of Google, we have the likes of Amazon. But our main focus here is Microsoft. So Microsoft is the main focus, and Microsoft, being a very huge giant company, it's also a cloud service provider. So with this very cloud, you can quickly provision your computing resources. You can use the service with minimal management, and you really don't have to think of taking care of your data center. I'm sorry, I might not be able to go deep dive, into talking the likes of, the data center and the shift and all. But I can just give us an idea. And the idea is, before this future of work of digital transformation, what most organizations do have is their data center. And this data center in simple words, is just a physical, facility or physical, space where organizations set up their infrastructure. Now, that physical space consists of the likes of racks, the likes of servers, UPS, storage, generators, and all of those things. Those are the things that makes up the data center. And that's something huge for organization because they have to spend ahead. They have to take care of capital expenditure. And this is really big. So based on the shifts of this from data center to the modern data center where we now have the cloud, what has happened is cloud providers, the likes of Microsoft, has been able to build that giant data center where other organizations could come and leverage in their facility. So what do I mean is like coming to rent. So you're coming to rent space. So rather than you building it up from the scratch, I mean organization building up the infrastructure from the scratch and all they have to do is leverage on the likes of cloud service providers, and with that they are able to get their facility done. So back to this Azure. Azure is a public cloud computing platform, and when it comes to Azure, it's way beyond just the compute and network services. You have a lot of other things, the likes of identity, the likes of governance, the likes of privacy, security, and so much more. We have that a lot. So this Azure, because I said Microsoft actually has their data center where other organizations could come leverage and have this cloud computing. So what happened is Azure has its own data center in different regions, all over the world. Basically, Microsoft categorizes it based on America, Europe, Asia, Pacific, the Middle East, as well as Africa. So, which means Microsoft is able to have, this data center across 60 regions, being represented in over 140 countries. So, Azure itself, we can think of it. So, I think I should just bring it out this way. And I'd like us to know that when it comes to Microsoft Cloud, yes, I mentioned that Microsoft is a cloud service provider, but the Microsoft Cloud itself, we have like three major offerings, and the major offerings is based on IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. I'm sorry, I may not be able to, talk too much, into going that, but for this IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS, they are the service offering, and Microsoft is able to offer that, and that's why they have, it's categorized into various technology, or should I say platform, which Azure is one of that platform. And Azure basically takes care of the infrastructure as a service as well as a platform as a service base. Okay, I'm sorry, I understand we're beginners and some of these things, might be jargon to us, but what I'm driving into is the fact that Microsoft is a cloud service provider, and they have basically different platform. We have the Azure platform, we have the Microsoft 365 platform, we have the Power Platform. Now, sometimes you may see some documentation, or maybe when someone they categorize Dynamics and the Power Platform together. Sometimes it may be categorized among SaaS application alongside the M365. So depending on what you see, but basically based on the offering, Microsoft has sought the product based on this different offering of IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. I know I mentioned while I was talking about Azure that is a public cloud, computing platform, and basically it's just different type. We have different types of cloud. We have the private cloud, we have the public cloud, and we have the hybrid cloud. The private cloud usually is being owned by the likes of cloud services provider like Microsoft, like Google, like Amazon, and they are the one that provide the resources. They are the one that puts the data center that I described a while ago in place, and you can always access this via the internet, which is what make it cloud. Now, this is available, publicly to all organization where you can share, you can have multi platform, you share resources, and that's basically why it's public. Now, for the private cloud, I would say organization can get to, create a their own cloud environments. Yes, they could always also leverage on this, cloud service provider to get a private cloud. But what happened is it's not available to everybody. It's just peculiar and available to just the organization, and that's what makes it private. And another thing that makes it private is the fact that it is that same organization that is responsible, for the services they provide. And usually it doesn't require maybe access to users that are outside of that particular organization. And that's what uniquely makes it private. Now, the last type of cloud is the hybrid, and in a layman was just a combination of the public and the private. So organizations sometimes could leverage on having both coexisting, having them side by side, and that is being referred to as a hybrid cloud. So again, if there's anything we can take home from today's small talk, is the fact that Azure is one of the platform by Microsoft, and Microsoft is a cloud service provider. Okay, and this Azure has various service offering, or cloud service offering, which is the infrastructure as a service, the platform as a service, and software as a service. Like I mentioned, I may not be able to go deep dive into this, but basically the infrastructure as a service, I think what I should just do is let me bring up a Microsoft page. 1 minute, please. 1 minute. I like to share my screen based on the different products we have. Okay, so Azure is so wide. Remember, I said it has various offerings. The infrastructure as a service, the platform as a service, and software as a service. In fact, we even have the serverless computing, which you might even liken it to before. But based on these three things or offerings I've mentioned about, we have all of these as Azure products. We have the Azure products based on compute, based on containers, based on databases, the tools, DevOps, identity integration. So these are the categories of all the Azure products that we have, and it's wide. And this product is just about giving organization, helping businesses with regards to their challenges, trying to meet organizations goal, trying to meet their benefits. It could be e-commerce, it could be finance, it could be anything, even up to the point of health. However you can think it, the idea about this Azure product is it's a solution that helps organization these days. And it's also a cloud based. I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to forget that. Is a subscription based, which means you need to be able to subscribe to this service in order to be able to make use of any of the Azure product. And like I said, I mentioned, yes, we have that of Azure. I also mentioned the likes of Microsoft 365. But before I move to talk about Microsoft 365, I'd like to show us about the roadmap for Azure. Maybe that will help us to understand basically what this Azure is all about. So for Azure, we have Microsoft basically has role-based certification. It may be too early to talk about certification, but this will just give us idea of the different categories and based on roadmap. Like I said, Azure would give us that offering of the ES Pass and SaaS. And based on that, we have all of this certification in place. We have the Azure Fundamental, which is basically for beginners. And if beginners wants to have, idea about Azure, the cloud computing basically, and all of those. So this, is like something that beginners can leverage on. All you need even if you're not a tech person, you can actually get on with this fundamental level, because it's basically the basic, where it talks about, even those things I can't completely tell us in 10 minutes. You have an idea about how it is a subscription based, in terms of the pricing, in terms of, this different products. Remember at the beginning of my talk, I said Azure has over 200 products. So we got you able to understand all of these products and all, and that's what the fundamental is all about. Now, if you move up, the next thing is the administrator, and it's basically an associate level, where this is the part where you're taught, or you'll be able to do things around implementation. You'll be able to monitor, you'll be able to maintain and even manage, some of this Azure solution based on the different Azure product that I talked about. But this time around, the focus is more on computing, storage, network, and security. Then we have the developer part, and this developer is still part of Azure. So what I'm saying is that when you're trying to learn Azure, it's not like you're just going to master everything. There are different parts, and we can see that based on the list on the screen. So you can specialize to be in a particular part, although there's a comprehensive roadmap that will help us understand. But what's on the screen right now are just based on the certification, just to help us have an idea of the different parts. So if you are the likes that maybe you're a programmer, probably while you're in school and all of it, you could tend towards, okay, Azure developer, because basically it's about the knowledge of how you can design, how you can build, how you can test, all these applications on the cloud, with the likes of the databases that you can use. And so that is something you might decide, okay, because I have a thing for programming or coding, I would like to move towards that part. Then there's the part of AI too, and AI here is just I'm sure we've heard things around, machine learning, artificial intelligence and all. This is what the AI part is about, where you get to use some of the cognitive services, where you get to implement, artificial intelligence solutions, things that may involve computer vision, things that may involve bots, things that may involve, speech, all those language processing and all. This is the part. So if you're the kind that you're interested basically in the that aspect of, or that trend technology of machine learning and artificial intelligence, then this is the part for you within Azure. We also have the data engineer, and of course this data engineer, it has to it also has the things around data. Okay, so if you're the likes, like probably while you're in school, your strength or your focus, or you want to be able to do big data, analysis around data and all, you still have that. You're welcome to Azure, to toast through that part, and there's a certification for that. And for security, okay, so we understand very well that based on this shift from our regular traditional method of organization building their own on premises, we have the cloud. I may not, because of time, please, I may not be able to go fully in depth into all of these things. So I'll just briefly move. So I think what we would ask the organizer once again is, before the class starts fully, maybe for Azure class, we can go each step to understand each of these things, because what we are doing today is to talk about the different Microsoft cloud, and Azure is one of them. So not to waste too much time on Azure, I think let me just move on to M365, because there's a lot to talk about Azure. But this is just to give us an idea that the platform is owned by Microsoft. It is cloud-based, which means organization can rent, and get services, in order to be able to build solution. And there are various products, over 200 products. Is that wide and really interesting too. And Azure provides, these three offerings of EAS, PaaS, and SaaS. So let me move on to talk about M365. That's the Microsoft 365. Um, I'll just talk about this briefly to us, because it's another technology that is part of Microsoft Cloud. So when you say Microsoft Cloud, you are talking about the different platforms, which Azure is one of it. Microsoft 365 is like the second, so to say. And when we think of Microsoft 365, the idea is just to help people. So basically, Microsoft 365 is a software as a service, a product, which means it's basically for end users. I forgot to mention the EAs is basically for maybe system admin that has to do with compute storage, networking and all. But the Microsoft 365 it tends towards, I would say, end users. So they're the ones that use all these productivity suits and other solutions that help most businesses, organizations to be able to achieve more. So it includes, of course, some intelligent cloud services as well as, interesting world-class security. So all of this thing comes together, and we have this Microsoft 365, as a platform on its own, and it's really wide. So Microsoft 365, I would also describe this as a Microsoft cloud-based, specifically I would say is a productivity suite, that just help users around the world. So I'm sure most of us are familiar. If we are working, if you're not working yet, I'm sure we all receive emails and all of those. So when it comes to Exchange, I'll just say this Microsoft 365 has various what's it called, components within it, and those components, it has the core component which we can see right now on the screen, and other components that we can also talk about. Just the way I said, Azure has various products. Here I would call it more of the core components or core services, however you may want to look at it. For instance, Exchange, when it comes to email, when it comes to collaboration platform, when it comes to messaging, your calendar, all of those things, it's actually under the Exchange Online, which is part of the service of Microsoft 365. Now for we also have the likes of SharePoint Online. Some of us might be familiar with this, and if you're not familiar, it's fine. It's just to let you understand that even this other platform has their own different product, and you don't have to know everything at once. You may specialize. As soon as you get to understand the basic, you can specialize in each of the services. So I can decide I just want to be a SharePoint person, or I just want to be a Teams administrator, and that's what you could do and work for organization and just do your part. So for instance, the SharePoint, this is where you get to talk about maybe things around site or company trying to have a central storage and all. You can have intranet for the organization. This is the best solution for such purpose. Then we know about Teams. Currently we are using Teams, so already I really don't have to stretch too much the benefit and what Teams is about. But in one word, I would say, or in one sentence, I would say Teams is a collaboration hub. This brings together the chats, the meetings, and live events and so much, where you can get to do collaboration with team within environment or within your organization. And we have the Office 365 app for enterprise. Like you can see on the screen, is formerly called Pro Plus. And of course, this is the one that I want to believe we are all familiar with. The likes of productivity suites, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, all of those things, Access, Outlook, Publisher, they all come under this Microsoft 365 app for enterprise. We have other components as well. We have, other components like Yammer, like Product Online, like Project Plus. I'm not going to, I think I'll just, stay at this space and not confuse us, but I'll just leave it there. If there's anything you should take home, please, is the fact that our Microsoft Cloud has various platforms. Azure is one of those platforms, and Azure has different products that comes in as a solution and offers these three offerings: infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. And we have M365, which is another platform, specifically SaaS, the software as a service aspect. And even within that, it has different service offerings, or should I say, it has different services, like what we can see on the screen. time would not permit me to, speak more. But at this point, I think I'll just put a pause and ask if there's any question, or maybe we can push this towards the end of the meeting.
Yes, yes, we will. Thank you so much, Tosi. I know
Right.
it's tough to ask for an introduction in 10, 15 minutes, but I think you have done justice to Azure and Microsoft 365. So we're going to move on to the Power Platform. We'll leave all the questions till the end. So we want to try to finish on time, so we give you enough time to ask your questions. So I'm going to share my screen and hand over to Victoria to walk us through Power Apps. So before Victoria comes up, 1 second, let me share my. So the Power Platform is basically Microsoft's suite for the low code, no code tools. So you may have heard the word low code, no code. What that basically means is the world is shifting to a point where we want everyone to be able to solve their own problems, right? Everybody doesn't have to default to developer to say, oh, I need an application, I need to automate my process, or I need to build a dashboard to show some graphical view of the data I'm working on. Microsoft is now not Microsoft alone. The world is now moving to a point where they want everyone, even business users, people who have never written a line of code before, to be able to do this by themselves. So that's Power Platform is Microsoft's low code, no code platform. So Victoria, we're going to talk to us briefly about Power Apps. I will take Automate and Power Virtual Agent, and then I'll hand over to Chema to talk about Power BI. So these 4 tools makes up Microsoft's Power Platform. All right, Victoria. Hope you are. I know I saw you, so over to you.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Victoria, and I'll
Victoria,
begin.
sorry to cut you short. Sorry. I wanted to just say that you have 10 minutes. When you are at 8 minutes, I would do a thumbs up just so that you know that you have 2 minutes left so that you can round up so that we would not sleep here. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. So, yeah, good evening, everyone. My name is Victoria, and I'll be doing a walkthrough or an introduction to what the Power App is. So, like Foyin has said, Power Apps is one of the components of the Power Platform. This is actually the platform that allows you to automate business processes by developing applications, more like developing custom business applications with little or no code. We all know that organizations have different business needs and different business processes. And a good way to automate these processes and needs is by building custom applications. An interesting thing about Power Apps is that it can quickly integrate and interact with different services, connectors, data sources, and all. It can integrate with, the Microsoft Dataverse. It can integrate with Sharepoint. It can also integrate with SQL. It can integrate with different connectors and data sources within the Microsoft Office and outside Office. With the Power Platform and with the Power App, you can quickly build amazing user-friendly web or mobile applications. Your application can either be a web app, it can also be a mobile app, and it can be viewed on any screen size, on any device. Yeah, an example of applications we build with the Power App is a leave request management solution. Excuse me, organizations have a way they handle their leave requests, and some of them send mails and all. And a good way to automate that is by building an application where everyone in the organization, every staff in the organization would use the app to request for leave, and there will be approvals. Excuse me. Another example of an application rather you can build the Power App is a training attendance. For example, every one of us attended this meeting. How do we know that if we're in the same organization, how do we capture those that attended the meeting? We can build an application and share the link while the meeting is on for everyone to probably click a button and say they attended. Excuse me. And when they've done that, we can get the list of everyone that has attended. We can also build an expense management solution. Okay, I work in a company and I need to buy some stuff, for example, stationaries. I'm not supposed to buy that stationery with my money. But at that point, I cannot wait till everything is approved and all the bureaucracy is observed. I go get it myself, but I have to come with a receipt to say, okay, I bought this, like a proof of payment. I would probably use an application to do that rather than sending mails or showing the receipts to whoever is in charge. So all I will do is upload the receipt in via the application, and whoever is in charge will get to see the receipt and probably approve and reject and reimburse the funds. So all these and more others are like the applications we can build with with the Microsoft. Over 1 million organizations. Some of us might be wondering, okay, who uses Power Apps? Why should I learn how to build Power applications? Over 1 million organizations uses the Office 365. And yes, you heard me right, 1 million. Those organizations have different processes they would like to automate. A lot more than, and these days we don't, like Foley said earlier, we don't necessarily have to wait for developers when we can work on things that will be done in a faster way. So there are many organizations that have business processes to be automated, like I said earlier, and Power Apps is like a very good way, if you're interested, to be able to help them solve their problem, to be able to help them automate their business process. Power Apps is not one stereotype thing. We forget that we say, oh, it's a low code, no code platform. We have the ability and the opportunity to make your application do what exactly you want it to do. You just need to think and brainstorm. And to also surprise you, we have artificial intelligence builder in Power Apps. When we say artificial intelligence, what does it mean? Excuse me. Artificial intelligence is the theory and development of custom systems, more like custom solutions that can perform tasks normal human beings are required to do. For example, we used to say before that it's not everything computer can help you to do. Right now, these days, actually kind of wrong. Computer can do a lot for you. So we have artificial intelligence in Power Apps, and I'll just give us like a walkthrough of each of them. The first one is the category classification, and just as the name is, it's just like categorizing text in different ways rather, so that it will be easy for you to be able to analyze them. The next one is entity extraction, and this is analyzing text. When I say text, like text, strings, words, to automatically put out specific data from unstructured text and classify it according to predefined categories. What I say is there are different categories that we can classify words into. And entity extraction, those categories in entity extraction are called entity. So if your AI is to do the job of entity extraction, it's going to read through a text and help you categorize it. For example, excuse me, Victoria, a Nigerian-based American citizen, earns 5 million USD per annum. Victoria here is a name of a person. A Nigerian-based is more like a location. That's a category. That's an entity. American citizen, more like a country, earns 5 billion. The 5 billion USD per annum is the monetary value. So we can actually do all this extraction and making it in an entity in Power Apps. And that's like one of the work of artificial intelligence build. The next is form processing. And what it means is reading and saving information from standard documents. Okay, so a form processor would just reach through a document. For example, when an invoice is generated and you don't want human beings to go through the invoice to see, oh, which one is the total price? Excuse me, which one is the tax? You can actually use a form processor that would read through that document and extract which one of them is the tax, which one of them is the amount paid and all. Another aspect of the artificial intelligence builder is the object detection. Excuse me. And this is actually a process where things, human, buildings, cars, and all can be detected as an object just by looking at the image or videos. The last one that I'll be talking about today is prediction. And the only way you can predict in artificial intelligence is when you have adequate data. So predictions can actually happen with your AI, but you would have done a lot of work by actually setting pace for those predictions, and you do that with data. All of this that I've said can be done with the AI builder in Power Apps. So some people might be wondering, oh, can Power Apps do more than just clicks of button? Yes, it can. And it can do a lot. I'll just do like a summary. Yeah. So what I said Power Apps is an application where, or is a component of Power Platform, a platform that allows us to build applications. Yes, that's a summary. Excuse me. It allows us to build applications. And yeah, I will leave all the questions you have for the question and answer section. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you so much, Victoria. Truly grateful for your time. All right, so I'll take it up from here and I'll talk about Power Automates. Now, I know that this is a lot of information coming to you at once, but we're trying to make it very brief and kind of very granular so that we can all understand and relate to what it is that we're talking about. Apologies, we are unable to chat. That's based on the way we had set up the meeting. So we'll please need you to just raise your hand or mute your mic when we get to the question and answer session if you have any questions. So Power Automate is a part of the Power Platform family, I would call it for this in this context, and it's a tool that helps you to automate manual processes. Right? What's a manual process? A manual process is a process that involves somebody having to do something by oneself. So I want to go on leave, like I'm working somewhere, I want to take some days off, and I need to fill a paper form, take it to my manager to fill, and my manager's manager to sign, then take it back to HR to acknowledge. All that moving the paper around is a manual process. You can use Power Apps, like Victoria has explained, to replace that paper. And then what Power Automate now does is that engine that moves the paper in quotes from one person's desk to the other person's desk. So now you're not taking a physical paper, but it's now going by email to say, oh, Foyin wants to go on leave. Please, can you approve her leave? And then the person can choose yes or no from the email, and the process is ended. And this has proven to help a lot of organizations to streamline their processes, hereby making the workers more efficient. So that's what Power Automate is about. Then we have the Power Virtual Agent. Power Virtual Agent is Microsoft's virtual assistant, like a chatbot, right? So I'm sure a lot of you have gone to a couple of websites, and once you get to the website, you see a chatbot saying, "Hi, how may I help you today?" Right? That is what we call a chatbot. And what Power Virtual Agent does is it helps you to create these chatbots without having to write codes, right? Writing without having to write any line of code. You can create your own chatbots. Now, how does this help? It helps with a lot of organizations where they have like repetitive um, questions. So you have situations where people are asking help desks the same questions over and over again. So rather than having people in help desks replying the same response over and over again, why not create a chatbot for this and let all that intelligence be passed to these bots? And then everybody doesn't have to wait for Yinka or for Foyin or for me or for Yinka and Foyin, they can go to the bot and ask their questions and get immediate responses. So this has also proven to make organizations work in a very efficient manner, and has also reduced the turnaround time for a lot of support tickets. And with the Power Virtual Agents, you can put it on external websites or internally within the organization. So that's what the Power Virtual Agent is. So this one of the tracks is the Power Automate and the Power Virtual Agent, where we'll focus on automation and also focus on teaching how to create the chatbots. So those two, they are one track. Powerapps is a track. Microsoft Azure is a track. Microsoft 365 is a track, right? So this a picture of what it looks like. But before Power Virtual Agents, you had to get a developer to write out all this long line of codes for you in order for you to get a bot. But now what Microsoft is saying is, why don't we empower the super users, right? The users of the products. Let them be able to create this virtual agent themselves. That's these help desk guys, or maybe the product specialist. Let them be able to go there and say, no, this is not how this thing should be, questions should be answered. It should be answered in this way, rather than having to go back to the developers every time they want to modify the responses to their questions, right? So that's what the Power Virtual Agent is about. So now I will hand over to Chioma to talk about Power BI, and then it'll come back to me to wrap it up and take the questions and answers. Hello, Chioma.
Here, let me share my screen, please.
Please go ahead.
Okay. Confirm if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay. So without wasting much time, thank you everyone that has spoken so far. So basically, Power BI, it helps people, businesses, get insights into what Power BI will do for us. Is that just like every other call, you have data, and this analyzer, you need to know what it's not all about having data, but what is the data all about? What data from this data? And that's where Power BI comes. Yeah, we have so many data analytical tools that you can use whatever you want to achieve in order to get insight. Power BI is a Microsoft tool. Sorry for that. Power BI will help you gather your located, whether be it on your database, be it on your Excel or on the web. It will simply help you gather all this data web, help you clean it up, help you model it and visualize it. So instead where you have so many records, meaning for me.
Yeah, Chioma, please hold on. Can we hear Chioma clearly? Or is it me? It looks like the volume goes off and on.
Yeah, it's correct.
Yeah, her voice breaks.
Yeah, I can hear
Okay.
her clearly.
Okay.
Yeah, Chioma, please, maybe you should adjust your mic. Your sound is going on.
So is it better now?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Power BI is a Microsoft tool. Gather data from where most times you find out that your data could be located. It could be on your spreadsheets. It could be on the web. It could be anywhere located. What Power BI does for gather this data wherever they are located. Power BI help you clean it up for data that sometimes you find out that when you bring in when you have a data, it's not so wonderful, it's not well use it. Power BI will help you clean it up. It will go a step further to even more. And after modeling it for you, it will help you to you can do so many analysis. Where you have to look at records, maybe you're looking at an and you have your numbers, you have so many columns and rows. Looking at it at once, you can't even make any meaning out. What Power BI does for you is that it makes that you have thousands, just put it up in such a way that it comes out as a looking at a visual that will help you You can say, oh, this person is performing better than the other. This product is giving us more sales. This means depending on whatever it, that's what Power BI does for us. And it will now help you give detailed insight. So you're not just running your business assumptions. Gone are the days when somebody wakes up and the person is just assuming. You have what can you make use of? How can you use this data to make decisions? That's what Power BI does for you. So it will just add this data, analyze it, visualize it. From there, you can get insights. If a business is not doing well, and you also know what has caused that because you already have data and you've been able to analyze it and visualize it. So basically, just like I've said, your data can be located anywhere. It can be on your Excel, it can be on SQL, it can be on your internet, it can be Power BI will do for you. Looking at our visual is that it will help you transform all this data you have wherever it's located. Whether you have so many multiple data cells, Power BI will still help you gather it together into one place and be able to analyze it. And at the end of the day, you have this visual that we're looking at here, where it's giving you meaningful insights. So you are seeing the total stores, you're seeing, so you're not just looking at numbers now, you're now looking at things that are making more sense. You know that you have a total of 104 stores, you have so amounts coming in, you have so many things. And Power BI, it has different parts. We have the Power BI desktop, we have the Power BI service, and finally, but not the least, the Power BI mobile. So what basically it does for you is that you go to your Power BI desktop, depending on, basically, most people prefer to use the Power BI desktop because it's also free. It's free for you to use. You do all your analysis that you want to do there. And by the time you are done, you don't want it just residing on your own laptop or PC, as the case may be. You want it online, you want it on the cloud, where it's not only you looking at the data now, maybe probably in an office, other people can see what you have done so far. For you to be able to do this, you have to move it to the Power BI service. That's the software as a service that Tosin talked about. And is on the service. On the service, you can do so many other things. But the beautiful thing about the service is that you can get your data on the go. So even if you are not in the office, maybe you are somewhere and you need to, give a report on a particular thing. All you need to do is to go to your Power BI service and then deliver on that. That's where you leave your dashboards that organization work with. So even if you are located in England and somebody is located in Australia and the other person is located in Canada, all of you can still collaborate on that same data set. And finally, we have the Power BI mobile. So Power BI is so beautiful that even if you are on the go and you have your mobile with you, you can still access everything that you have done on your work, on your PC, on your desktop, that is already launched on the service. You can still have access to it on your mobile. So basically, this is what I've just been telling us. You can get your data from different sources, bring it into Power BI, create all your visuals and everything, launch it into the Power BI service where people can collaborate on it, as well as also upload it on your mobile apps. And then why do you have to go for Power BI? Power BI is so beautiful. There are lots you can achieve in Power BI. Yeah, there are other data analytical tools, but Power BI is like some steps ahead. Just like I said, you can collaborate online where the people located in different areas can actually work on the same data in a team where you have to continue to provide insights. And let's say your data keeps tripling in every day, like every day you're having new data sources. You can program your Power BI in such a way that for every day that you have new data coming in, all you need to do is to set your data refresh, and anytime that data comes in, automatically it does it for you. You don't need to be there to always upload and upload. All you need to do, just set your data refresh, and for every day you're getting new reports as it comes in. And then another beautiful thing about Power BI is that it has an artificial intelligence part where you can just go and ask, okay, I want to know the total sales we've had for the past 3 months. You don't need to start doing any special code. You can just type it in, just the way you're saying it. What is our sales for the past 3 months? And Power BI will just pop it up for you. That's another beautiful thing about it. And then the fact that it has mobile access, you don't necessarily need to be on your system. Finally, Power BI is just a business analytical solution tool that we can use, that businesses are using these days to be able to analyze and get a visual of what their data is all about. Better decisions based on the insight they've gotten. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Chioma. So I will share my screen now. Before we go to the other benefits and the next steps, I don't know if anyone has any questions around any of the technologies that we have spoken about today. Maybe Microsoft Azure, maybe Microsoft 365, Powerapps, Power Automate, Power Virtual Agent, or Power BI, which Chioma just explained to us. If you have any questions, please could you raise your hand with the raise your hand icon, or you can unmute your mic. Okay, great. Adekoya, please go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. My question goes to Victoria. I wanted to ask something about Power Apps. You said
Hello? Sorry, I can't hear you. I'm not sure if it's just me.
I also couldn't hear.
doing.
You lost her. Maybe when she comes back again, she'll ask her question. Okay, she's back.
Please, you can go ahead with your question. Okay.
If we have any other persons that have questions, let them raise up their hand so we can just like take them one after the other while we're waiting for Teliola to come back.
Okay. Teliola, are you back? No, she's not. All right, so let me continue. Hello? Someone saying something?
Yeah, I said it seems she's having a network issue.
So okay, yes. So while we are still trying to think through our questions, I would continue and take us through the remaining part of the slides. 1 second. Oops, wrong slide. Okay, so we have other benefits of joining us for this cohort, and one of the other benefits is that you would have 360 mentors. So from one of the feedbacks we had from the first cohort is because we were meeting once a week, a couple of the ladies felt a bit kind of disconnected. And we also discovered that there's a lot more to growth than technology, right? It's only so far that technology skills can take you. There are other skills that you need to have as a professional. And from our interactions with other ladies in the community, preparing for interviews, writing your CV, selling yourself, we discovered that some of these skills were not exactly at the level they need to be. So we decided to have 360 mentors who would help and support you as you go along your learning journey. Then we also have a day in the life of a security admin, a Power Apps developer, a Power Platform developer. We're going to do this in partnership with Azure Foundation, which is owned by a friend of mine in Microsoft doing. She was on the call, the last call that we had. She is a director in Microsoft Global, and we plan to run this together. And the idea is, okay, I decide I want to become a Power Apps developer, but I may have this view in my mind that, oh, as a Power Apps developer, I'll be working with 5 monitors in front of me and typing on 2 keyboards and spending all my day developing applications, whereas it may be something totally different. Like you're spending half of your day with users, trying to make them understand why they should automate their process. Just a random example. So what we're going to have this so that you can start to understand what an average day would look like as a Microsoft 365 admin, as an Azure administrator, as a Power Apps developer or a data analyst. That's what the day in the life of is about. So as you continue to learn, you also have an idea of what the real life would be like for you eventually. So for our next steps, we'll need to fill this form. Now this form is, okay, I have people's hands up. So this form is for us to decide on the track we want to follow, because we're going to start next week, Saturday. We sent out the emails to all of the other members who know what they want to do already. We're starting next week, Saturday, on filling me. So this form is for you to say, this is the track I want to join. So we know the right email, the right communication to send to you. Also, we would send out, you would receive some sort of welcome email, and I'll hand over to Sarah to talk about that in a bit. The plan is for us to have all of our meetings within Microsoft Teams, and we're going to like onboard you onto the team so you can come into the team and the channel and have ongoing conversations with your other our track members and also your mentors. So for that ongoing conversation, we need to add you as a part of it, and you're also be able to chat, which we cannot do right now because we have not been added to the team. So Sarah will talk a bit about what that experience will be like, and then our classes are starting next week, Saturday. These are the links that Yinka has shared with us before. So while I hand over to Sarah, I would reshare this slide in PowerPoint format. So maybe we could click on the link directly from off my slide, or if you can get the link here, it's just rebrand.li/mytrack. I try to make it very simple so that we can type it out and fill the form to just say, this is my name, my email address, and this is what I want to do. Please don't pick more than 2 tracks. We're going to have other cohorts. We're going to continue to have cohorts. We'll have another one early next year and late next year and all that. So you can pick up other ones. But what is most important is for you to understand the one you want to do. Don't go and pick 5. And at the end of the day, the 5 of it, you don't have a clue what it is. So please, let's not pick more than 2 maximum. And when you're picking 2 tracks, it means that you're committed to spending minimum of 2 hours every Saturday in those 2 classes. If you know you can't have those 2 hours, please, let's just pick only one and focus on that one. Thank you. All right, Sarah, please, can you help us just with a brief explanation of what the welcome message look like? After Sarah, we'll take the questions and wrap up for today.
Hello everybody, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I hope so.
Yes.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Not yet, but it looks like it's coming up. We can see your fine
Okay. I really do not know what's going on today. I was talking to Foyin over the phone and told her that 2 of my computers are just decided to shut down, and now this is happening again. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen because it seems it's happening again, and I'm going to try again. Please give me a second.
Oh, but we can see the email now.
Can you still see it? No.
We can see the image now.
Can you see?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay. That's great. Grand. All right. So my name is Sarah. I'm also a mentor in this particular cohort for Microsoft 365. I understand that some of you do not have any experience with Microsoft Teams at all, because some people message me saying that, see, they are even new to computer and they don't even know how to operate one. So, which is very okay. Please kindly ignore my dog. So we are going to get an email from us saying you've been added as a guest to TechStylers in Microsoft Teams. Can you see? Let me enlarge this. Can you see my screen? Fonyi, can you see my screen?
We can see your screen.
Oh, Thank you so much. All right. So you're going to get an email from us saying you have been added as a guest to TechStylers in Microsoft Teams. I'm going to send an email that's going to describe all this, but I just want to explain to it over the call again. So once you see this message, there are two things that are involved. If you have used Microsoft Teams before, you're not going to be prompted to, sign up.
Sorry,
However, if
sorry,
you've
Sarah, one
not
second.
used Microsoft Teams before,
Sorry, Sarah.
okay.
Can we see Sarah's screen?
Nope.
Not
No,
anymore.
no at all.
Oh, okay. Please just.
I'm able to see it.
Okay.
So funny enough, I'm
Oh,
able to see.
oh, okay.
People are
Nice.
saying spiritual screen now.
Sorry, please share one more time.
Okay, let me reshare it. Can you see it now?
Yes, yes, yes. Look, could you go back to the previous
Can
screen,
everybody see?
the welcome screen,
Uh,
the email that they will receive?
this one.
Yes, yes, this one is good. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. All right. So, sorry for my laptop is misbehaving. Sorry about that. I'm going to do better next time. So, this is the first email you're going to get when we send you an email. Hey, welcome to TechStylers. You've been added as a guest to Microsoft Teams. So once you are added, you will see you get this email in this format. So this was done on my phone. So if you are doing it on your phone, fine. If you are doing it on a laptop, perfect. So this was done on my phone, and I got the screenshot. So Sarah added you as a guest to TechStylers, but what you may see is TechStylers added you as a guest to TechStylers, whichever one, it doesn't matter. So then you click on Open Microsoft Teams. Open Microsoft Teams. So once you click on Open Microsoft Teams, it takes you to this next page. If you've never used Microsoft Teams before in your life or with that particular email address, it's going to tell you, oh, you don't have an email address with us, you don't have an account with us. Please note that either you're using Gmail, you're using Outlook, you're using a business email, you're using yahoo.com, it does not matter. Microsoft welcomes everybody to use Teams. However, you just need to sign up for just few seconds. So now you're going to see create an account. Look like you don't have an account with us, we'll just create one for you. So if you have Microsoft Teams before, or if you have a Microsoft account with your Gmail or your Yahoo Mail account, you can skip this step. In fact, it's just going to log you in straight up. It's not going to ask you all this question. So that's that. Then the next stage is to create a password, of course. Choose a strong password. The next stage is to choose your country, depending on where you are. I understand that some people message me they're from Kenya also. So I know that it's not Nigerians that are on this call. So choose your country, choose your birth dates. They're going to send you a code to your Gmail account. So if you use a Yahoo Mail, they're going to send you a code to your Yahoo Mail account. If you use an Outlook or a Hotmail account, they're going to send you a code to that email account. So what you just need to do is just to enter the code. So once you enter the code, you're going to play a small game to just to be sure that you're not a robot. So this port is going to be upside down. You just have to keep pressing the right arrow or the left arrow until the port is, like a normal port. Then you click on done. And of course, it's going to give you terms and condition, which we don't usually read, but you can read it and just click on accept. So once you click on accept, it's going to tell you to sign in again with your password, or it's will automatically sign you as it did it like this. Make sure you remember your password. So once it signs you in, you're going to see this page. And this page is showing that I have added myself to the cohort 2. So this is what you're going to see in your own page too, that you have been added to this cohort team. And once you go there, you can now see these channels. My channel is hidden because it's going to automatically hidden. So you just have to unhide it, and you're going to see all the old channels we have in TechStylers. That's your Azure, your Power Platform, your Microsoft 365. So all you have to do is to go to your team. Remember, for you said don't join more than 2 teams. It may be tempting, but please try to focus on 1 or 2 teams so you can be, good in this too, and like that should be all from my own end. I'm going to send an email regardless, and show you how to do this. I'm going to send a YouTube video and also the same screenshots with arrows showing you how to sign into Microsoft Teams. For those that do not have a Microsoft Teams experience, it's going to be easy for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Very concise and detailed. Thank you. We're grateful. All right, so let's take the questions now. I'm just going to grab the screens here. I think Evelyn, if I'm correct. Yes, Evelyn has a hand up. Please, you can go ahead. Yinka, I'm not sure if Tele is back also, so they can tell us their
She's
questions.
actually back, just that her hand is not up anymore, but maybe she will speak after. Okay, she has raised up her hand back. And let's just take Evelyn. After Evelyn, we'll take Telela.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can,
Yes,
please.
yes, we
Yes,
can.
please.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for the presentation so far. I wanted to ask a question that has been on my mind for a while. So, some of us have already made a chosen a career path that has nothing to do with tech, and we've gone so far, but now we want to do a transition. So, after learning, how then do we know that we are job ready? And how my real worry is, when you just learn something for the first time and then you're expected to pick up a job and act like a pro. How do you know your job ready? How do you know you'll be able to meet with the demands when it's something that you're just starting for the first time? Because being able to conquer this fear can be a very big step towards, making the transition happen. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Anybody willing to help with the question? Mentors?
Okay,
Yes.
so
Okay.
this is
Uh,
Olayinka. Evelyn, so to your question, yeah, so there are two ways to know whether you really know what you have learned. And the first way would be through your certification. So like in Tosin's presentation, she shared some certifications for different levels of Azure Cloud. So when you finish learning the technology, you expect to take an exam that shows that you understand it. However, you can still say that could be theoretical. So how are you sure that you know the practical and not just the theory? The way to know that you know the practical is to now get involved in projects, which could be there are projects everywhere. Like, yeah, during your training anyway, your mentors will also give you some hands-on projects to work on your own. But even after the training, you can then join different communities and then look out for live projects that you can work on just to test the hands-on part of the work. But then the first way, after learning, the first way is to take your certification exam, through which you can verify that you really understand the things that you have learned. I hope that answers you. But any other person can add to it.
Okay, I think someone else was trying to speak also. I'm not sure who it was. Okay. All right. So, Evelyn, is that a sufficient answer?
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome. But one thing we know for sure, like we've had a lady come up, one of our past inspirational sessions, a Devi lawyer who is a lawyer. She went to bar and she decided to come into technology and she's doing very well now. And she came to share her story on one of our inspirational sessions. So it's real. People were doing it. Last session we had doing was telling us of how a practicing nurse had come to join Microsoft Corporation. So it's not unusual and it's very possible. Okay. Tele Ola, please go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for the opportunity. And all. A quick one is that I wanted to ask and I wanted to be sure. You were talking about power apps used for AI building and all. You mentioned something about entry recognition of data. So I wanted to ask that in a situation whereby, because recently I had a project to do with a couple of friends. So I'm trying to get a data for two different companies and converting it to one database. Is it possible that Power App can do such a thing? And no, that's my question.
Okay, so just to be clear, you have two sets of data sitting where in Excel.
Extracted, like, no, like extracted, yes, Excel format and no. Like a complete database and everything.
So we want to know if you can merge two
The
Excel
two,
sheets together.
like, no, two data, raw data.
Yinka, please help me. I'm not sure. Is it the data inside the Excel sheets
So
or yes, please go ahead.
So it depends on what exactly you're trying to achieve. If you have two data sets in an Excel spreadsheet or in two different Excel spreadsheets, and you want to merge them into one Excel or into, I guess that's what you're trying to achieve. Hello,
I'm trying
Telela.
to I'm trying to extract the data from an
Oh, to
SQL
extract the
database.
data from the Excel. Okay, from an SQL database.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Powerapps can definitely do that. And it doesn't necessarily have to use AI. In situations where we use AI is when we have, say you have a lot of forms like invoices, and they're all similar. And you want the AI builder to sort of follow a rule to extract data from it. But if you have just two sheets and you want to extract data from it, you can use Powerapps, but not necessarily AI builder.
All
Does
right.
that
Thank
answer
you
you?
very much. Yeah,
Yes,
it
yes.
does.
Thank you. Okay, please, while we are
Okay, we
asking,
have
sorry,
another
Yinka,
hand.
while
I
we're
think
asking, sorry, while we're asking the questions, can we click on the link? I've reshared my slide in PowerPoints, so you can click on the form. You should be able to click on the link, and it takes you directly to the
I
form.
can't
So
see
you
your
can
screen, okay? Is
see
it
my
just me?
screen.
We can see the screen, but it's like blank.
Oh,
I can actually see it.
can you see
Oh,
the
really?
next step slide?
Yes, I can see the next slide, but I don't know about others.
Okay. Fill the form. Please, can you click on the link to fill the form? Because that's the whole, like the main objective of today's session is just to get us into one track and then we can start our journey. All right, Mika, over to you to help with the questions.
Okay, I think the next hand we have is Ikoro. Ikoro, please, you can unmute your mic and speak.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for. I have two questions. The first is, I didn't join the call in time, so I would like to know if for me to get the recording so that I can go through it to catch up with the things that were said. And then is based on